Chicago, welcome to the Chicago Sports Podcast presented by PointsBet. Use that promo code CHGO to get up to $2,000 in risk-free bets. Welcome into the show. I am Kevin Kaduk, head of content at CHGO, joined as always by my partner Luke Stuckmeyer. Kacy Standohar and Lawrence Benedetto are also here. We have a great show planned for you today. A couple months ago, we did the 80s movie draft, and it was the most responded to piece of content we've done out of this podcast. It was pretty awesome. People had opinions. I think people are going to have opinions of this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. But first, we have Chicago sports to talk about. Are you ready, Luke?
I am, but the movie thing's hanging over my head big time because I watched that 80s podcast draft, and I was very upset. I didn't like the way it went down, and I said, if you're going to have another one of those, I need to be involved. So now it's just hanging over my head. We have so many choices. But yes, let's talk sports for a second.
I'm just like you, Luke. I'm not ready at all. I was more concerned about making a graphic that, who knows how many people will see, but
it's nice, though. Very nice.
Yeah, it's cool. We'll look at that later, but I don't know who I'm picking or what I'm picking or what movies even came out in the 90s, so this will be fun.
Yeah, it's bad. The only thing that's getting me through it is that Do-Right donut I had this morning.
Yeah,
the pumpkin spice.
Thank you to Caitlin for bringing those in.
Thank you, Caitlin.
MVP.
That was amazing. Yes.
Amazing.
Glorious.
Hey, by the way, Luke, you missed a great tailgate on Sunday.
I know. I'm totally bummed. I was this close to getting there, and then my timeline for what I had to do that day got moved up, and I was like... So I'm locked in. I know the tentative dates that everyone doesn't know.
Logistically, it was awesome because we have parking there, and it's right at the corner of Michigan and Roosevelt. And for future tailgates for people that are coming, you basically just roll right on in there. There is not an issue of like going into waiting on Lakeshore Drive or waiting to get into one of the McCormick lots. It's pretty cool.
And there's a lot of people, but it's not packed, right? Like you're not just like people on top of people. What I really, to be perfectly honest, what I missed and was jealous about, the breakfast tacos at the
breakfast tacos were amazing.
They were wonderful.
Food truck.
Thank you to Don Rafa for doing that.
Don Rafa.
My favorite part was when four guys came in bare-chested with Luke on their chests, painted on their chests, and we said, Luke's not here. They just turned away dejectedly. We had to refund their money.
Yeah, thanks
Those
a lot
are my
for that.
people. You sure that wasn't Cody and Ryan and Corey and Brendan?
It may have been. All right, let's talk about Chicago headlines. We're talking about the week that was in Chicago sports or the week that will be. But we're starting off with what happened in New York last night. Aaron Judge, or it wasn't in New York, it was in Toronto.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge hit 61 to tie Roger Maris. Roger Maris Jr. has been following the Yankees around just like he followed Mark McGwire around in 1998. And after he hit it, he had this to say. Aaron is clean. He's a Yankee. He plays the game the right way. I think it gives people a chance to look at somebody who should be revered for hitting 62 home runs and not just as a guy who did it in the American League. He should be revered for being the actual single-season home run champ. That's really who he is if he hits 62, and I think that's what needs to happen. I think baseball needs to look at the records, and I think baseball should do something. So we talked last week kind of about this at the end of last week's show, but I wanted to get kind of back into this, and it does have a Chicago tie-in because I'm watching this whole fanfare over Aaron Judge, and honestly, I don't really care. It's not that interesting to me. We've seen people hit into the 60s before. Barry Bonds did it. Mark McGwire did it.
He hit 73.
Yeah. Sammy Sosa did it 3 times. He hit 66 in 1998, 63 in 1999, and 64 in 2001. You tell me it didn't happen, Luke?
No, I mean, I'm with you. I don't. Like, if people want to get all upset about it, I am upset about it. I don't really care, but why would you parade around with Mark McGwire and act like it was a glorious event, and then all of a sudden Sammy's nothing, and now this is the new record, but what happened to your love for Mark McGwire? And the only thing I'll say for Judge, I do think it's clean because Tatis is sitting out with a suspension, and number 2, he's doing it when the baseball is basically made of paper mache right now. Yeah. Nobody else can hit a baseball. So what he's doing is impressive. Do I care who gets credit for this? Like you said, Sammy did it 3 times, hit over 60. He did 66, 63, and 64. It happened.
And we knew what was going on at the time. We didn't care what was going on at the time. It was a great show.
And
the
pitchers were doing it too.
Yes, the pitchers were definitely doing it.
He was eating Flintstones vitamins, I thought. Isn't that what happened?
The Flintstones vitamins for sure, but it just doesn't sit well with me. We know Sammy Sosa is an odd dude. He's kind of a weird dude. I don't think the Cubs really want him around because of that. But I had a great time in 1998. I had a great time watching Sammy Sosa do what he did for the city of Chicago, what he did for the sport of baseball, and then to kind of pretend like that didn't happen. I don't hold Barry Bonds or Mark McGwire in the same regard as Sammy because they never played for Chicago.
Right.
I just kind of hate this, and the Aaron Judge thing does nothing to me. He's a good dude. I'd love if he came to the Cubs or the White Sox, or the White Sox certainly are not going to cut that check, but. Look, this is happening because he's a Yankee, right? If you do it in a Yankees uniform, ESPN and the rest of the national media just care more. That's just whatever.
That's what Maris says at the beginning of his thing. It's like, he's a Yankee. So what?
Right.
So what?
So also I'll say this, putting an asterisk on those other numbers, whether it's Bonds or McGwire or Sosa, is doing the same thing that was done to his father too.
Right.
So I just don't really kind of understand this.
It's an awesome feat.
And
it is an awesome feat.
Yeah.
We're talking about Roger Maris's kid. He didn't hit any homers. So, who the hell's asking him the question?
Go back to
anyway?
North Dakota.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here, man.
Yeah.
Done with you.
I just want Judge on the Cubs next year.
Mm-hmm.
Roll out that wheelbarrow of cash we've been waiting for.
Yes. All that money
The Yankees are going to offer him $400. You offer him $500.
Hotel Jeffrey or whatever it is.
Yeah.
There.
Luke, do you think we're going to see Sammy Sosa back at Wrigley Field anytime soon?
I do not. And the crazy part is that not only is Sammy not welcome back, but they just drafted Mark McGwire's son.
Right.
So which is it?
You had Manny Ramirez out there as a coach.
I don't think as long as the Ricketts own the team.
But what is their beef
Sammy.
with Sammy Sosa? They didn't own the team
Sammy.
when he played.
They don't like Sammy. I don't know the answer to that. They believe he cheated, and I guess they want him to admit it.
Yeah. Maybe there's more to the story that we don't know. We don't, But
Sammy
none
could
of this
admit
stuff
it, but I don't care. Whatever.
We had a great time. That was the last time that baseball was the number one story in America.
Right.
This is, Aaron Judge is hitting 61, and people are still more concerned with Justin Herbert's, injury status.
Yeah, I want Judge on the. Can you imagine that guy at Wrigley Field?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be just like Sammy. He'd be running around with the American flag in the outfield.
I think he's going to end up staying with the Yankees.
Yes.
Because
he will.
Yes, network needs ratings too, but what a great move that would be for Marquee to get people finally onto that network and get really people picking it up and signing up for stuff.
Offer him $50 million more. Say whatever the Yankees offer you, we'll pay you $50 million more.
Yeah.
Hey, do any of you? Do either of you remember where you were for the first time you hit 60 back in '98?
60 or 62?
60.
For Sammy?
Yeah.
I just remember I was in Lincoln, Nebraska. Can I remember where I was physically? No.
Well, I know where I was. Kev, do you know where you were?
Were you on Waveland Avenue?
Very close.
Okay.
I was in the parking lot right outside of Wrigley Field, where the old Yum Yum Donuts was.
Were you eating donuts?
No, I was an intern for our guy Mark Giangreco at the time, and they sent me along with a camera guy up to go see if he hits it. And we're driving up Lakeshore, we're listening to the game. It's the eighth inning, whatever, and then all of a sudden, we're pulling into the lot, and I just get out of the van and I hear the crowd going crazy. I'm like, cool. Now I'll say this though: the cool thing about that game was it was against I think the Brewers. And the game was insane. The Cubs came back from some
38 of those home runs were against the Brewers, which would be the reason for an asterisk. But,
amazing.
Yeah.
I think the Cubs came back and won 13-12 or something. Orlando Merced hit some game walk-off, whatever. And I remember being on the field, and I'm 20 years old or whatever, and just the crowd just was going nuts, and no one was leaving after the game ended. Everyone was high, up and whatever, and good times.
There's a big reason that Wrigley Field and the Cubs are worth as much as they are right now.
Yeah.
Harry Carey has a lot to do with that,
Yep.
and Sammy Sosa has a lot to do with that.
Sammy has a huge
and only one of those guys have a statue outside of Wrigley. That's all I'll say. So.
Next.
All right, we might have Ryan Herrera stopping by. He was at the Jason Hayward press conference. That might be at the end of the show. We'll see if he is able to get
We'll
in.
see.
But moving on, Lonzo Ball had his knee surgery, and Shams Charania. I can never say his name.
Shams Charania.
Shams. I just say Shams. People know. He reports that doctors believe that Wednesday's surgery did reveal what was causing the pain in Lonzo Ball's knee. They addressed the issue. He is expected to miss at least a few months. I told you, Luke, if we have him back by Martin Luther King Day, I will be a happy man.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it looks. Now, I mean, I guess you say this is good news, though, right? Like, everybody that was looking at it, the doctors even said right on our CHGO Bulls podcast, the doctor said, if we go in and don't find anything, that's bad news. If we go in and find something and correct it, that's the good news. Now, that doesn't guarantee that the guy's going to be okay. I'm still greatly concerned. He couldn't walk upstairs. He couldn't run or jump.
Put any weight on it.
This man's not 45 years old. This isn't Granville Waiters or Bill Cartwright we're talking about.
That is a great reference.
Or Greg Oden.
It's like the second Granville Waiters reference in the last week on this podcast.
Right?
Okay,
amazing.
Greg Oden. He's not Greg Oden. I mean, he's a young guy. Like, this is his third knee surgery, and going into it, he couldn't run, he couldn't jump, and he couldn't walk up the stairs. They must have found, like, jagged marbles in his knee, okay, they fixed it, but I'm not sure that's great news. I guess it's better than finding nothing, which just sewing him back up and being like, well, good luck, hope you feel better.
Yeah, I
think
think
it's not.
I think if it took opening his knee to kind of find out what was wrong, I mean, I think that's a bad thing. I think there's a lot of rehab in front of him, and who knows what mobility, what it'll cost him in terms of mobility.
Right.
But I'm glad that I'm glad that they know. I'm glad that we know. I wish that this would have been maybe done in March or April, but people don't want to have surgery, so I understand that. So
I'm glad for him that at least he has an answer.
Yeah.
That he's not, he's not going crazy. There was something wrong.
Yeah. All right, the Bears are 2-1 and headed to New York to face the 2-1 New York Giants. I don't think either team feels all that great about it, though.
I don't feel great about it. I mean, mostly it's the quarterback thing, right? Like, everybody's worried about Justin Fields. Even his biggest supporters now are like, well, I'm concerned. I'm a little concerned because that was a bad game.
Yeah.
And today, Sports Talk Radio this week has been just this close examination microscope of what's going on. Is Justin depressed? Can he handle the way he's – the only person that I actually – give some validity to this. The only reason I give it something is that Dave Wanstead pointed out right away after the press conference on Sunday. Wani said, this is what I don't like. He's upset. He seems depressed. And if he carries that back, which would be normal, into the huddle, now you got a problem because these guys are all looking to him like, you're going to figure it out and then we're going to figure it out, right? And that's not talking about this season. That could be like a downhill snowball avalanche type thing. So I'll give it a little bit of, I trust coach's opinion on that. For all the media that's looking at me like, oh, yeah, he's upset. Like, yeah, and if he throws 4 touchdowns this week, he won't care.
4 touchdowns? I mean, if throws for like 4 yards or just throws 4 passes in general.
But he's going to be, this game you assume the Giants will, after watching those first 3 games, the Giants will stack the box and say there's no way Herbert's beating us, right? There's no way. Justin Fields, you can only throw on us. Go for it. See if you can do it. Some guys are going to be open this week. Now, he can't. If he misses him again, and we're back here again next week after they've stacked the box, sound the alarm.
I've been trying to preach patience. I said things are going to be up. Things are going to be down. Things have definitely been down the last 2 weeks. I think you're right. The rushing attack has been great, so that should be able to open up things for Fields, for Luke Getsy, that you should be able to scheme around this. So let's see what they can do this week.
Play action.
Yeah.
Over and over.
No more bootlegs. They seem to be onto that. So.
Yes.
All right. The White Sox are completely free-falling. They have lost 8 straight. They are 76 and 79. They are 11 games behind Cleveland.
Goodbye.
The Cubs, meanwhile, are finishing the season on good vibes. They've won 7 of 8 games and are 69 and 86.
Nice.
Lawrence, if you do the math,
if
the Sox win.
I was told
if the Sox lose their last 7 to finish the season on a 15-game losing streak, which really would be something.
Wait for it.
And then the Cubs win their last 7. The two teams will finish the season tied.
And that would just be just great for those White Sox. I mean, good times, guys. Well done. Well, great season.
By the way, you cannot blame it all on Tony La Russa. I will put a lot of it on Tony La Russa, but the Miguel Cairo honeymoon is now over.
Right, but I mean, you can't blame Cairo
Miguel.
at all.
No,
I mean,
listen, you could. Here's where the blame starts. Jerry, Rick Hahn, Kenny Williams, Tony La Russa. That's the big bag. Then you got to put it on the players. You stink.
For so long, the term white flag in White Sox lore referred to the 1997
Jim
season,
Parquet, right?
when they trailed the Cleveland Indians at that time,
John Garland,
by like 3 games, and they pulled the
what's the white flag trade?
Yeah, the white flag trade.
I just can't. I feel like Jim.
Now
Parquet
you say white
wrong.
flag, you're talking about 2022. You were facing a 3-game series against Cleveland, and you completely turtled. Now they're 11 games behind.
Yeah, like you said, it's not a white flag. It's a turtle. It's crawling into the fetus position and sucking your thumb going out of the season. This
Pathetic.
is the fact that, listen, they're not going to end up with the same record as the Cubs. I don't believe you're going to have 7 more wins and 7 more losses. But the fact that it's going to be within 2 or 3 games probably, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This Cubs team has been tanking on purpose for 2 straight years or more. Like, they traded their entire bullpen away. They're pitching Adrian Sampson. Esteban Quiros is playing second base. Guys, what are you doing? This is, we debated last week, where does it rank in busts, right, for Chicago sports? You have to let's eliminate the ones that made the postseason and just call it, this is now the biggest regular season bust in Chicago sports history. The Bears in 86 still won a ton of games. The Cubs in 2004, which is an equal tank job when you include what happened, but they won 89 games. This Sox team's not going to win 89 games, and that was a better division.
Unbelievable.
They're going to be double digits behind the Indians, or the Guardians,
They're not going to finish it with the winning record. Unless they go 6 of 7 to finish it out. So, and I don't think that's happening.
I was with you. I thought they were going to the World Series.
I will say this: like, if you had told me Tim Anderson played in 89 games this year, I don't know.
Yeah, okay,
not great.
Organizational depth.
It's going to be an interesting offseason for both teams. It seems like the Sox really had momentum, and now the Cubs may have drafted and slingshot past them. Who knows? Finally, Northwestern unveiled their new stadium plan. It looks pretty freaking cool. Lawrence, do we have the images?
Oh, yes, we do.
A privately funded
$800
million stadium built on the current site of Ryan Field. It's going to reduce capacity from like 47,000 to 35,000.
Did you say Wilbon funded or privately funded?
I don't think Wilbon. I mean, Wilbon is handsomely compensated at ESPN. I don't think that. It's good to be Pat Ryan, okay? It's good to be the former chairman of Aon Corp, or I don't know if he's former.
I'd tell you who's got to be just loving this. Fitz. I mean, are you kidding? Remember the practice facility that went up a few years ago? Have you ever been to that thing or just seen pictures of it? Their practice facility on Lake Michigan is like maybe the nicest building in all of Illinois.
It's crazy.
It's
nuts.
Unbelievable.
For a bottom tier Big Ten football program.
Say it, a team no one cares.
Are they
about.
bottom tier? They're like middle tier. They're middle tier.
But they're not though. I mean,
they've been to a Big Ten championship game. I know the Big Ten West is not great, but
they're better. I mean, they're Chicago's Big Ten team.
Oh, they are Chicago's Big Ten.
Sorry, Cody.
Do you think this is going to spark off? I mean, there's so much money coming to college athletics with all the television contracts. Do you think this is going to spark like a new
stadium
wave
deal
of stadiums in college?
It might. And you know what it's going to do is like the ones that have like 110, like the Big House at Michigan, and they're going to expand them and make them even better. Here's what I want. Now that they've done this, Northwestern, just take a little bit of your pride, set it aside. Your pride and prestige, set it aside. Take a few guys that aren't straight A students.
You want the JUCO transfers into Northwestern.
Go for it.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Ease up the restrictions just a little bit.
I don't think that's happening. I love the way the stadium looks. I think it is going to stick out in Evanston, right? I mean, that's part of like, Dyke Stadium, Ryan Field's charm.
Yeah.
You went there like, oh, this place must have been awesome in 1932 or whatever. But nothing's been updated since.
Well, I wonder if they should have done this in opposite order. Should they have put the stadium right on the lake?
Yeah.
And the practice facility where the stadium's going to be. I don't know.
I love the smaller attendance. Like,
yeah, I appreciate that.
That's
because,
right.
I looked at the pictures and I'm like, who's going to this game? But yeah, if there's making it smaller, good. As long as Buffalo Joe's is not affected in any bad way, that's all I really care about.
It looks like one of your soccer stadiums in England, actually.
Yeah, one of my soccer stadiums.
One of yours.
Now, wait, Law, are you a DePaul guy?
I am not. I went to Columbia College Chicago, the Triple C, the Fighting Commuters. Let's go.
For all the DePaul fans out there, take notice. This is what you should have done for a basketball arena. There's nothing wrong with, where you're playing now.
Well,
but if you wanted to rekindle the Mark Aguirre, hey, we're Chicago's team thing instead of giving it to Loyola.
Ray Meyer.
This is what you should have done. You should have torn down some buildings in your own area right in Lincoln Park, and you should have put a cool stadium there. A small seated stadium.
Yeah.
Only had to have like 10,000 people in it.
Just like knock down Oz Park. No one goes to that park. Just leave those statues inside on the concourse.
Great point.
Yeah, what the hell?
And they screwed that up big time.
Where do you think they're going to play when they're constructing this?
Champaign.
Well, Soldier Field, because the Bears won't be there. Or it's not going to time out. No.
The Bears will still be there in
the Bears will
2024.
Still be there. But the Park District owns it, so they've got no say. They'll play Soldier Field.
Wrigley Field.
And the city of Chicago will be so mad that the Bears have officially announced that they're leaving to go to Arlington Heights by then, that whoever's the mayor at that point will say, well, we'll let Northwestern play there, and they can just destroy the field before we let the Bears just, puddle their way through mud. And, that's what's going to happen. The Bears are going to play in the worst field ever because Northwestern will play their home games there on a Saturday.
That'd be fun.
Luke Robbie in the chat agrees with you. DePaul needed it on campus. They built a stupid loft apartment.
Yeah, dumb.
Not great.
Dumb.
All right, this football season, PointsBet is bringing you a better way to bet live on games. That means before this ad is over, you can place a live same-game parlay, bet on the next drive to be a touchdown, and cash out on your live second-half overbet. So whether you're on the move or on the couch, do it live on PointsBet. Download the PointsBet app today and sign up with the code CHGO to get your first two bets risk-free up to $2,000. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services.
Our next partner has a product I've been using every day. Started taking AG1 because I didn't have time, wanted better gut health, more energy, and an optimized immune system. I've been on it for 6-7 months now. Doesn't taste super healthy, but that's the great part. And it's sort of mild and tropical, and it is healthy. So I take it in the morning. Here's what it is. 1 scoop of AG1, you absorb 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to start your day right. A special blend of ingredients supporting your gut health, nervous system, immune system, energy, recovery, focus, aging, all of those things. I get that boost of energy, so I take it first thing in the morning, empty stomach, and then I follow it up with a Do-Right donut like I did today, the pumpkin spice cream cheese frosting. Holy. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, you're all good with AG1, investing in all-in-one nutritional insurance for less than $3 a day. It's recommended by professional athletes, more than 7,000 5-star reviews. So right now, reclaim your health, arm your immune system. We're heading into cold and flu season. COVID's on an uptick. Daily nutrition. It's 1 scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Cubs, CHGO Bulls, CHGO Bears, whichever team you support. Again, athleticgreens.com/CHGO Cubs. Take ownership over your health. Pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
So I love what Sean Caselli said. Can we buy Sammy a ticket to show up to the Cubs convention with Michael Collada so they can confront Tom Ricketts together?
Michael Collada is our regular resident Ricketts Ripper on the CHGO Cubs podcast.
So, one, I think that would be great press for CHGO. 2, I don't think we would ever be allowed at Wrigley Field again. I think we would be on the outside looking in if with Sammy.
Most likely.
So
most
I like
likely.
All right, it's draft time. It's 1990s draft. We did the 1980s movie draft a few months ago. I will put the link to that in the description after the show. But let's welcome in.
Oh,
Kacy.
very nice. Yeah.
That was leftover from the Sox. Yeah.
Noise.
Oh, hey.
Nice
Sorry,
touch.
Kacy. I should probably turn on your mic.
It's not as good as the Mario. It's not as good as the Mario noise when Mario shows up in the Blackhawks.
Do we have that somewhere? That's probably somewhere. I don't know where that is.
They just do a Super Mario Brothers.
Mario. No. I have
Fun.
this. Wait, hold
Fun
on.
sound.
Detroit sucks!
Yeah.
Detroit sucks!
That's always good. That's always good.
All right, so the 1990s movie draft. The world is our oyster. There's a lot of choices.
Boy.
We're going to leave a lot of movies on the cutting room floor.
What are the rules, Kevin? What are the rules?
There
we
aren't
know the
rules.
There are
logistics.
no
The order is
rules.
Kacy, Kevin, Lawrence, Luke. That is
So that's a
Ladies
rule.
first.
alphabetical order.
BS right out of the gate.
That's
old man last.
age order.
Oh, look at that graphic, though, guys.
I love this graphic.
I will
Lawrence
say-
was working hard on this late into the evening.
Into the early morning.
In
actually,
early
but, yeah.
morning.
I'll give
excuse
this.
me.
Other than the jersey number thing we put out with the best player at every number, this is the coolest graphic we've
Hey,
had.
now.
Yes.
Joey's going to
If
It's
you're
a
listening to the
blockbuster.
podcast now, you're going to want to check this out on YouTube because Lawrence did an awesome blockbuster video-looking graphic.
Yeah,
There's a shelf. As we pick our movies, he is going to put the DVD covers.
Will they all be in stock, or will I have to go into the back room and find some
yeah.
of your picks? We'll see.
So,
I picked a lot.
stock.
But we'll
I've got
see.
my readers on for this. Oh no.
Do you have one for Turner and Hooch?
Remember
Or that was
when
an
you
I
would-
80s
love
movie.
Turner and
Was
Hooch.
that- I think it might have been
I'm going to
1980s
take that
movie.
first.
You guys remember
Way to
when you
ruin it.
would go to the theater to the movie store and you would like go and they would be empty or they wouldn't be like
Yeah.
behind the thing?
Yeah, that would suck.
Wait,
Sad.
are you asking that as a question?
Yeah, like do you remember that?
Yes.
course.
It was
Do
the
you,
worst.
Casey?
I
That's my
do remember that.
My concern is that you don't know what Blockbuster
Yeah,
is.
I do.
exactly.
We had a family video near our house though, and if we got good grades and did well in school and we were good to our mother, we got to go rent a movie.
Kacy,
Mother,
are
have I
you
been
old?
good to you?
Are you old enough to have had a separate rewinder, separate from the VCR? Like you would finish the movie and you would eject it, and then you would put in the rewinder to
way.
save the VCR.
I
She
don't
doesn't even know
think
what a
we had
VHS
that.
is. I don't
No, but my grandma would tape like things for us and rewind. So I don't know. She would like tape over something to like send us a Christmas special or I don't know.
I'm old enough that my mom used to show our childhood movies on reel to reel, like we had in grade school with the giant movie reels, and then there were two of them.
like
Like
the
tick 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 tick. The tape it in, you'd be like,
8
oh, the movie's
millimeter,
over.
16 millimeter film. Sure.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I'm ready for this.
So we're going to do 4 movies apiece. So again, we're
God.
going to be leaving things on. We're probably going to post this to social.
Yeah.
And
Under
people are going to
protest.
call us all sorts of names.
By the way, to
you're
the
going to have to
chat-
stand behind your picks.
To the chat, I probably won't be paying much attention to you as you're yelling at us right now while
Yeah.
I'm dealing with this graphic, but I know I'm going to pick all the wrong movies, and I apologize.
I've got it called up on my iPad here, so I'll read off some of the
Okay.
suggestions
Thank
here.
you.
Kacy, you're on the clock at number 1.
Oh man.
Oh, boy.
Okay, I think I have to go with my all-time favorite 90s movie,
Ay, ay, ay. What you gonna
Mrs.
say?
Doubtfire.
Oh, wow! Are we off to a start? We are
You guys,
off to a start.
This is a great movie. Robin Williams doing the Lord's work, dressing in drag. It was hilarious. The kids were great. Sally Field was in it. It's a good movie.
My daughters got really into this movie because I think it's on Disney Plus
It's
now.
funny.
It's a little weird for like a 6 and 7-year-old to be watching
Maybe.
it, and then it kind of like really makes me sad as the dad because the dad's going through all this stuff to
Yeah.
be with his kids.
man,
and-
now
So you're
gonna
saying
make me
you like
cry.
it and it
I mean-
touches your heart and soul.
It's not the number 1 overall movie. You're wrong.
No, it's
No,
not.
Like,
do
you
you
shouldn't have
realize
taken
what's
that.
happened here? Kevin made the order here knowing that Kacy was going to do something crazy
Yeah.
so that he could give the obvious answer for, here we go.
Phantom Menace, right?
This whole
With
thing
Jar
is
Jar
under
Someone
Binks.
said
protest.
Mrs. Doubtfire got sad.
me so stupid.
Jar Jar.
No,
Go back in your
It ends
cage.
well. It's a sad movie at first, but it ends well.
It's Robin Williams at the height of his powers, that's for sure.
Yes.
So.
All right.
Patch Adams? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
1993.
There is another 90s movie where I would say Robin Williams is at the height of his powers, but you
Look,
know,
why do you
no
look
spoilers.
disturbed that I picked this movie?
It's great. It left some openings for me. I just can't believe Kevin's going to get this first
we have
pick.
different
Right.
tastes.
Yeah, what is Kevin's first pick here? Because I need to know if I was thinking the same way or if Luke's in a whole other.
Do we have
galaxy.
guesses? Do we have?
I know
What
what
do
it
you
is.
think I'm picking?
No, I'm not telling you.
I
I'm not
know
saying
what he's
anything.
picking.
Yeah, just go ahead and say it.
I don't think you do.
Here's the thing that I find crazy is we're not doing categories. You don't have to pick a comedy, a drama, an action
No.
movie, and we're not saying these are the best movies
No.
or most successful movies,
Absolutely.
right?
That's why I picked Mrs. Doubtfire.
You're just gonna pick our favorite, or am I saying these are the best movies? That's where I'm torn.
Hey, you know what, Luke?
'Cause I could
look
do
at the
ju-
graphic. This
It's
is your picks
your
on
pick.
your shelf, man.
I could just do
you want.
comedies. I could
You
stick to
tell
comedies.
people.
And
You could tell
leave
people
everything
what you
else
want
out.
them to watch.
We're not
whatever,
trying to
doesn't
be the
matter.
best. We're trying to
Yeah.
pick our favorite.
You don't have to say Titanic because fuck that movie. I've still never seen that. That's right. I'm one of 4 people in this country that's never seen Titanic.
Titanic is an
Don't care.
achievement in filmmaking. Okay,
Don't
it's
care.
not
It was.
necessarily
I
a
mean,
great
it
movie. It
was.
is
You did feel like you were on the Titanic when you watched the movie. I'll give it that. Like, it was pretty cool.
So I thought Kacy was going to actually go with Clueless. So
Yeah.
that
I
one
thought she was
surprised
going
me.
You guys give me
Titanic.
no
I thought
credit.
Titanic was her call, but
You
Clueless
said
is
Little
great.
Mermaid, Clueless.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Clueless is a great
All right.
film, though. Case, come on.
No,
This
I would
is a
not have
great
picked
movie.
that.
All right.
All
what do
right,
you got, Kevin?
number 2. When I think of 1990s, I think of the birth of the summer blockbuster. I think
what's he gonna say?
cold, movie theaters.
Am I going in the back
a
for
hot
this?
day?
Sticky shoes.
I think the greatest summer blockbuster of all time.
The
is
Rock.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic. I have.
I'm going to
that.
go with Jurassic Park, 1993, Steven Spielberg.
I have that in
That
stock.
was on my list.
This is what I love about Jurassic Park. You watch that movie today, it holds up. You don't look at this and say, "Hey, man,
special effects hold up.
The special effects hold up. The pacing of that movie, like you feel like you are on that island. It's just like the T-Rex is like the greatest all-time villain in film history.
That
All right, I
damn
thought I was going to
T-Rex.
get Jurassic Park potentially at number 4.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But it changed the way special effects were done in movies.
Yeah.
Like, that set a new bar. When that came out, I saw it with my parents, right? Mm-hmm. And I just remember my mother had an upset stomach. She was so nervous afterwards.
is
She was just like,
nerve-wracking.
she was like hyperventilating afterwards because she felt like the
I cannot
dinosaurs
wait. I
were
cannot
real.
wait to show my daughters.
I was going
this
to say, they're
movie.
not ready for that.
They're not ready
ready.
for it at all.
Not
I
ready.
wasn't ready for it. I think I was 15 at the time.
Unless you want them to not sleep for the next 5 years. I wouldn't go with that yet.
Oh God, I'm on the clock. Oh
Yep.
no.
Ah, come on.
Lawrence on the clock.
Sister
Okay.
Act.
So
Sister Act.
part of me does want to take The Rock because who doesn't love The Rock? I think you're crazy if you don't love The Rock, but I'm not going to do that.
I don't know if it's a number 1 pick.
It is not a number 1 pick, which is why I'm not taking it. There are 1,000 great movies that I love
Sister Act.
from the 90s. Sister Act is not one of them. Neither is Sister Act 2, 3, or however many there are. I am going to go with a movie that was just, I was in college, saw it in the theater in Iowa City. It was amazing. Have seen it countless times since. Yes, he had a movie before this that was amazing as well, and that's another one on my list, but I'm going to go with Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction.
Solid pick.
That's a
That
good
that
one.
is a number 1 pick. That's a first-round pick.
Never,
Thank
Yes.
you.
never saw it.
Oh no.
Kacy,
Never saw it.
Don't admit
Here we
that.
go.
I just admitted that I didn't see
See,
Titanic. I don't think
Casey's
he's
Sorry.
been
anymore.
eliminated from this
No,
competition.
I'm not eliminated.
She's been eliminated.
No.
No, she's actually
She's
very.
never seen Pulp Fiction?
We've already given you a homework list, Kacy, because we were prepping for the show yesterday. You have a long list to go through. Add Pulp Fiction to it.
Yeah, in
Right.
fact, yeah, it's the
And
number 1
what
pick.
is it
on
called?
my
Glenn
shelf.
Gary,
Yeah.
Glenn Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch that.
I told her
too.
to watch Glengarry Glen Ross, Luke.
Coffees for closers.
Coffees
Luke.
And then I made her watch the entire
Brass
Coffees for
balls.
Closers YouTube
All right.
clip.
I never thought I'd be making this pick.
I'm
at
excited
number
for you
4.
because this is like you thought you wouldn't get this. You were mad you were 4th. Now you have 4th and 5th here as we're snaking it back.
I mean, I would have been happy with Jurassic Park or Pulp Fiction,
Yeah, as you should have been. They're great films.
but I'm surprised that Shawshank Redemption was passed
Yeah,
up.
Shawshank.
It was on my list.
Shawshank. There
So
we go.
I
We're
will
gonna
go
lose
with the
so
so
Shawshank
many
Redemption.
movies
Yeah.
out. It's crazy. It's crazy how
Now,
the 90s might have been the greatest movie decade ever. I'll say it.
Well, for people who were
and for
like,
high school
kind of-
graduates.
We said that about the 80s.
Yeah.
Boy, I've got
80s
a
was
lot
very
of.
kitschy.
See, now there are some choices here, and I don't want to give too many away.
No, it's fine.
Do I go with?
It's my
Do I
turn.
go?
No, it's
snake
snaky,
draft.
snaky snake
Oh,
there,
we're
Case.
snaking.
Boy,
Yeah, sorry.
oh, boy.
You could. Don't worry. You could
That
get Mrs. Doubtfire
sucks.
too in like 3 picks.
Oh boy, what's going on here? I know what the kids would like me to pick here, but I'm not going to do it. I don't know if I should go to a different.
What do the kids want you to pick?
The kids want me to go Space Jam.
Space Jam.
The kids all want me to go Space Jam,
It's
and they're going to be
fun.
mad that I didn't take Space Jam, but I'm not going there.
Oh, good.
There's other good kid movies in there. Do I want to go drama? Do I
boy.
want to go comedy? See, because I think, boy, there's so many choices here.
Yeah, there are. This is a movie draft.
Okay,
For a whole decade.
I'll tell you
with
what.
No restrictions at all.
No restrictions at all. I go with one of my 5 favorite movies, and this is not for everybody. Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
That was going to be my 4th pick.
Sure. Look at us all being
Forrest
not
Gump
excited
is
movie.
one
for
of
you.
my all-time favorite
Someone
movies.
in the
Life
comments
is like a
said
box
it's
of
a bad
chocolates.
movie.
Yeah, someone said it. I think it was Sean Caselli said it's a bad movie.
Well,
Not
come
a
on.
bad
That's
movie.
my guy Shy, I think.
Never
Oh,
know
Shy
what you're going to
did, Shy
get.
did.
That's not true.
Me
You
and
never
Jenny
know what
with
you're going to get.
Peas and carrots.
Why do you like Forrest Gump, Luke?
Yeah,
I
what's
loved
going
it.
on here?
First of all, we had never seen a movie.
Jenny did Forrest dirty.
No,
Jenny. Thanks, Robbie. That's good.
the way they put Tom Hanks into all of these different real-life pieces of history was also special effects amazing at the time. Like when he's up there, he's shaking Nixon's hands with
Yeah.
the Dr. Pepper.
I gotta go pee.
Unbelievable. He's running out of the
like
jungle. Unbelievable. If you haven't seen the Netflix special, the movies that made us on this, it's outstanding. All those scenes were just absolutely unbelievable. And I just thought it was a sweet story. It was a funny story. It for people that didn't know history, like things before them, the Vietnam War, what was going on in the world at that time, it took you those places.
All-time soundtrack.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Dan is still playing his band.
Lieutenant Dan.
I have to agree.
And it's my favorite Tom Hanks movie. And we could do a draft just on Tom Hanks movies, and that
Of
would
course,
be
we
not
could do a draft
easy.
at anything.
That
Bragg's
thing you
greatest
do,
actor of
that
our
thing
time
you do
in
is
my eyes.
That thing you do is a great '90s movie that I probably won't be picked. I don't think.
I hope not. I have to go to the back for that one. Bragg said we should be doing a '90s Nick Cage movie draft, and I fully
I'm not a
agree.
Nick Cage guy.
Give me Con Air. Give me The Rock.
No, I'm not
Give me
a
all
Con
those
Air
things.
guy.
Good speed. All right, so hey, I'm up.
He's just waiting to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm up, and we've got a lot of great films out in the world, but I mean, I'm sorry, it's Big Lebowski. I don't know what you guys are thinking.
It's actually
Kevin wanted that.
Yeah, as you should.
Lebowski, huh?
I mean, dude, come on. It's the dude.
It is.
abides.
It's a great movie. It wouldn't have been. It's not my list.
I
so.
just watched it on the plane ride to last plane ride I was on, and it's fantastic. It's fun to watch, even though I had to kind of shield my daughter's eyes for part of it. But I mean, it's Lebowski, man.
So yeah,
The dude abides.
that was in my top 5. So
Yeah, it should be.
This actually makes things a little bit easier for me going here.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I was between Lebowski and another movie, but
Where's
I know
the
where he's
money,
going.
Lebowski?
I know where he's going. I know where he's
Do you?
going.
All
I know
right.
where he's going.
all right. So we have not picked. Forrest Gump was a Best Picture winner, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Sure.
we haven't picked
Oh,
a Best
boy.
Picture winner.
Oh,
yet,
no,
but we
he's
have.
going Schindler's List.
I know one. I'm
You're
thinking
going
of
Schindler's
that.
List?
There's
No.
several that are sliding
Schindler's List
here.
is good, but
I'm not
I
picking.
can't-
I'm not picking Best Picture winner.
It's too
but
sad.
I'm picking and one that should have won Best Picture. Martin Scorsese, Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Yes, I did pass on Goodfellas.
That's as good as it gets, and the
Lebowski.
fact that Dances with Wolves won over that is still one of the
Tatanka.
worst decisions in Academy Award history.
Well done. Well done, Tatanka.
He's so bad in that movie.
A lot
as
of
bad
people
as
will
his
say,
Robin
like,
Hood,
if
but-
they see Shawshank Redemption on, they have to watch it until the end. Like, for me, that movie is a Goodfellas, which for some reason is always playing on Lifetime, which makes no sense.
Wait.
Goodfellas plays on Lifetime a lot.
Oh my.
It makes zero sense.
Okay, pause. Why are you watching Lifetime? That's my
Because
that's my
Goodfellas
main
is on it. You see it on you're going through the.
I don't even know where Lifetime shows up on the dial at this point in my life, but I guess yeah. Okay.
I do like the way we're doing this, though. Like this is our list, right? Like
It
this
is.
is what we. This is the way I
That's
think
my
we
shelf. That's my shelf at the CHGO video store. All right, you
Right.
want to get 2 videos for $5 or whatever it is,
should. If you turn on your television and you still have cable, and HBO is on, and what movie is on that you cannot turn off? That's what we're talking about from the 90s.
Pulp Fiction and Lebowski are definitely on my list for that.
Shawshank and Forrest Gump are on that list.
100%.
I like everyone's pick so far. But let's see where
Casey
screws this up.
This is a pick I didn't tell anyone
Sister
about
Act.
beforehand, so you probably will not have this.
Oh, no.
I'm going to go with 1997 thriller mystery by David Fincher, The Game.
The Game. Oh,
Game.
I had to go to the back to find that. God darn it. Okay.
So I saw this recently for the first time and loved it.
This is the Michael Douglas movie, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and it messed me up. It changed my life. It
I
was
do remember watching that.
just twists and turns, really unexpected at the end. So yeah.
Wait,
I own that movie on
who's in-
VHS.
who's
Remember,
in
like
The Game?
Blockbuster used to sell the watch copies? I had a
Oh, that's Michael Douglas.
previously
Oh,
watched.
okay.
This is just, again...
What is the game about?
This is Casey's list, so I can't be angry. I just cannot relate to the next generation. This is what's
Why
happening.
don't you like that movie?
It's not that I don't like that movie. It's just we're leaving some that are going to be left here are so great
Yeah. 4 is
that I
four
feel
is
like we
tough.
should have 10 picks.
Yeah. We'll just
And the
extend
game
it
wouldn't have been
another
in my
hour.
top 10, but it's your list.
Yeah.
It's your list.
Sean says, who has the guts to take Toy Story? Bragg says, all right,
Rick says
Casey
I'm
is out.
What do you mean? It's a good movie. David Fincher's a great
She was
director.
out at Doubtfire with as powerful as these lists are going to be. She lost me at
What-
Doubtfire.
Wait till you guys hear my next
Tell
pick.
me the plot of the game again. What?
He is like a successful banker, and his brother, I think it's his brother, kind of sets him up in this game that he thinks is going to like change his life. And he goes through all this stuff, and it kind of goes downhill for him because basically he just has bad luck after bad luck, and things are really testing his patience and his sanity. Do you want me to tell you the end?
Yeah, who cares? It's not 90s, man. You get to spoil it.
And
Who
then at
cares?
the end,
This is why it's not one of the all-time greats. She's trying to explain the movie to us.
well, because at the end, like you have it on VHS.
I mean,
Do you
Not
honestly
anymore.
not
But
But
remember?
he doesn't have a VHS player anymore.
Maybe a doorstop in my college apartment.
At the
I don't
end,
know.
he like almost kills himself, but the whole thing is a joke in the end because it was all a game. The
it was
brother,
all
like,
a game.
I'm going to have to watch that again.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's
I mean, it's Fincher, right? Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
It's Fincher? Yeah, Fincher's awesome. Sean Caselli says Fincher's great. Zodiac's a masterpiece. Yeah, love Fincher. Is he the one that does Mindhunter?
have you even seen
right?
the game, Luke?
I don't think I
don't
have,
remember it.
honestly.
Honestly, I don't remember it.
It's yeah.
So long ago.
I've heard of it, but do I remember it?
Psychological
this,
thriller.
This is like the prime of my life here.
Huh.
We're talking about.
Okay, Kacy, you're on the board again here.
You guys are gonna hate my next pick.
Oh, no.
Okay,
Don't
wait.
make me
I'll
go to
save
the
my
back
last
again.
pick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be strategic here.
She picked like Clue in the 1980s movie.
I know.
Great
See,
movie.
that's what I can't.
Cult classic.
This is what upsets me. Don't make me angry, Casey. I don't want to be mad at her.
I am picking The Truman Show.
The Truman Show,
that's-
yeah.
I mean, Jim Carrey's got to be represented here.
Luke is so upset right now. I've
gonna
disappointed
vomit.
him.
It's a good show.
I'm
I
gonna
mean, it's a good
vomit.
movie.
I'm so upset.
Do you
I'm
want
gonna
some of my
vomit.
donut, Luke? It's delicious.
Is that the blueberry one?
But why would you pick Truman Show
Cinnamon.
over Dumb and Dumber or Ace
Because
Ventura?
I don't think I love Ace Ventura. I just figured one of you guys would
I
have
can
picked
give you
those.
10 more. I just don't want to give
The
away
Truman
all
Show
the
I just think was
comedies.
a little bit deep, and I appreciated like the story behind it. Ace Ventura I love. We were just Matt and Big Dave and I were quoting it yesterday before the show. Truman Show just kind of made an impact on me, I think.
Yeah, look at her. She's in the television.
But Liar
sort of
Liar, Ace
industry,
Ventura,
so it
those
makes
are all
sense.
classics too.
Office Space, Dumb and Dumber, something
I would not
about
pick
Mary,
Dumb and Dumber.
American
I don't
Pie.
think Dumb and Dumber is funny.
Sorry.
I don't think Dumb and Dumber is funny.
I'm with you on Dumb and Dumber. Like, whatever. Dumb and Dumber's fine. You know, whatever.
Oh, come on. So you're saying there's a chance that you're not taking it?
I mean, whatever. Dumb and Dumber's fine. The other movies.
The
other
Sean
original,
movies-
and by the way, we're referring to the original.
Sean agrees
Yeah.
with me. Truman Show is Carrie's best movie.
Ooh, well, hold on though. Wait.
What about
I like the one
Man
about
on the Moon?
Yeah, Man on the Moon's
Cable Guy.
amazing.
No, the
What's the one
Mask.
Yeah.
The
No.
Mask is his best movie.
Mask was a very 90s movie.
Yeah, that's the best movie.
All right, I'm up next.
Oh God. Okay, here we go.
All right.
What do you got for us?
I am picking my last pick was a Scorsese film. Now I'm going to pick the best Scorsese ripoff, Boogie Nights, 1997.
Yes. Wow.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yes.
I don't know. how
That
this
the
is gonna be a
rewatchability of Boogie
competition.
Nights is pretty amazing.
You guys are all picking movies that are
Burt
like
Reynolds
on the
should have won a
list
supporting
of
best
movies.
actor. Mark Wahlberg's best role because it actually didn't require him to be a good actor. So
You're all picking just like basic movies, like movies
Boogie Nights is a basic movie.
But you're picking movies that everyone puts on the list.
Well, no, I have
top.
two. I have two that swept the Academy Award so far, but like Mrs. Doubtfire was great.
I'm trying to be more obscure about my picks.
So you're being like last time Jared Willis was on here and he just was like went total hipster on the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now you're
wrong with
playing
that.
that role.
Hipster
Lit up a stogie and went hipster on us.
Hey, nothing wrong with hipsters, all right? Let's just not be ripping on hipsters. I'm a former hipster. Oh my God, there's so many good movies. Oh boy, see, this is tough because my fourth pick, I hope to goodness gracious Luke does not steal to the point where I almost want to take it now.
You better. Better take it.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I don't care. I am taking it now because I wanted to take it first overall.
Yeah.
And
I think I knew.
I'm taking The Fugitive.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The Fugitive is probably my favorite movie to
First
watch.
Chicago movie on the board.
It's probably my favorite movie to rewatch 1,000 times. I've been literally like texting my friend Benny every time it's on AMC or TBS or wherever the hell it is. One of us will text each other, "Hey, Fugitive's on," and next thing you know, we're watching and just quoting each other all the lines. I mean, the best part about it for me, it's all the little things. It's those two Chicago cops who are like, "Did he have a hook?" You know, those guys are just so classic. Otis Wilson is one of the guards. You got Pam Zeckman, John Drummond, Lester Holt, Jay Levine.
That famous Chicago waterfall.
Jay Levine.
Yeah. Oh yes. That's down. It's Southern Illinois or wherever the hell it is. I mean, there's certainly not waterfalls that big down there, but whatever. Check every outhouse, hen house, et cetera. I just won the draft. It's over.
I'm gonna vomit because I have to make two in a row here, and I can't do it. There's too many. I have too many. You guys have left so many on the board.
I know.
What I'm gonna do is just
sad.
rattle some off.
So
now.
far, you have Shawshank Redemption and Forrest Gump.
Right, the best two movies of the '90s. All right, I'm going to leave Basic Instinct on the table.
Thank goodness.
I'm going to leave Space Jam on the table.
Sure.
American Pie is still on the table.
Oh, that's a 90s movie?
That changed things. Yeah, that was an influential
Braveheart
movie.
is on the table. Casino's on the table.
A lot of things on tables.
Swingers is on the table.
They're actually on shelves.
All right, so I'm going to go with comedy first.
Okay.
And there are so many choices here. I'll tell you what. Gosh, Hoop Dreams I'm leaving on the table.
Yeah.
Best
4.
documentary I've ever seen.
Okay. So leave it on the table. Where are you going?
I'm going to leave it on the table.
Get to the counter, Luke.
Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy. There's no way you can tell me if Tommy Boy is on the television, or you're on your pops up somewhere, you're turning off Tommy Boy.
That's what bees. You
You're
took
watching.
my pick. That was my fourth pick.
Oh, shit.
Now,
I mean,
where I'm
first
going-
off, I would take Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore.
Well,
over
I
Tommy
still
Boy.
have another pick here, Kevin.
Okay.
Unfortunately for you. I am considering Billy Madison.
Billy Madison is a great movie.
I am considering Fight Club.
Are you considering Titanic?
I'm not
I've got it
considering
right there.
Titanic. I am considering Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, you should be considering that. How about Wedding Singer?
No, I tell you, here's
Wayne's
this
World?
is where my heart, the movie mind in me says you have to pick Good Will Hunting 2 Academy Awards. You have to.
Yeah, love it.
Or The Usual Suspects.
Got Good Will Hunting. We've got Usual
Primal Fear?
Suspects. Oh, Primal Fear.
The baseball,
I love that
the
movie.
baseball fan in me
it's a
says
great
you
one.
have to pick Sandlot, but
Yeah.
this is not a sports
Yeah,
draft.
that's a different
Sandlot's man
category.
So that's why
Yeah.
I'm not. That's the only reason I'm not going to pick Sandlot. Here's where I'm going to go.
You want
I'm gonna
dogs,
lose
don't
some
you?
people because you told me.
Reservoir Dogs?
You told me this is
Flubber.
this is my draft. This is the Luke Stuckmeyer draft, and he will not have He will not have a box for this. One of my all-time favorite comedies. I thought I was going to get it on the very last pick of the draft. What About Bob? Bill Murray's best movie.
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Bob.
You cannot watch
Bob.
it. You cannot watch it without laughing.
That
Baby
movie's
steps
amazing.
to winning. I'm taking baby steps to winning the championship. The Cubs are taking baby steps to the World Series.
I got to go to the back. You guys keep talking about What
Dr.
About Bob.
Leo Marvin.
gotta go to
That's
the
all you
back.
need to know. Dr.
Wow.
Leo Marvin. And Faye, those mashed potatoes.
I mean,
So you take that over Groundhog Day.
now
100% it's over Groundhog Day.
I'm with you on Groundhog Day. I feel
I like
that.
I love What About Bob. That's an
What
underrated
About Bob
movie.
is those two playing
Have you
off
seen that,
each other?
Kacy?
No.
You should watch What About
Make me a
Bob is
list.
a great.
It is
Everyone in the
great.
comments, make me a list.
Yeah.
The combo of Dreyfuss
Is that
and
noise
Bill
on our
Murray
TV?
is maybe the greatest
It is.
cast movie of all time. Those two guys, like Bill Murray is insane, and he's afraid of everything, and Dreyfuss is this tight, going to where does he take his vacation? Not the Hamptons.
Oh, I forget.
Who's in it?
Martha's Vineyard or something like that.
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss, and he loses his
Cod?
mind. Cape Cod type area. Anyways, Lake Winnipesaukee is where he goes. Ahoy! I'm a sailor.
Yeah.
I sail now.
Amazing.
I'm sailing. If you haven't seen What About Bob, as someone whose prime was the 90s, I graduated high school in 1990.
You did?
What About Bob? One of the most unsung movies of all time. I told Bill Murray that once. I was like, by the way, What About Bob is your greatest movie? He's like, okay, all right.
Okay, let's.
He just looked at me like, all right.
I gotta put
Thanks.
Put that on the.
It's
Do you
like,
like
thanks.
that or no?
No, I don't know if he liked it or not, but like Caddyshack. Most people would say
I think
Caddyshack.
this is your hipster pick though for sure. I mean, Kacy's been trying to do her hipster deal.
Well, I mean, I left Good Will Hunting on the table.
I'm not really trying to be hipster. I'm just picking movies.
How you
I
like them apples? I left Good Will Hunting on the table.
Yeah, that is a great movie. That's one of my favorites of all time.
Okay, so that means I'm on the board here.
You just completely derailed Lawrence, by the way, because he had to go look for the graphic.
I
to
did
put-
have to go look for
I know
the
that was also
graphic.
part of it.
Yeah.
And now we've got it, but where did
Look at that.
my
Shawshank,
screen
Forrest
go?
Gump,
Where did
Tommy
this-
Boy.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
And
Here
What
we
About
go.
Bob?
All right, so we are back
That's
to
8
the
hours.
screen
For 8 hours, I
share.
could sit and watch those back to back to back
There
and not
is
move.
my movie and
Put some depends on me
publishing.
and just let me watch the
Okay,
movies. Just
Luke.
let me go.
Okay, all right. So I have choices to make here. 12 Monkeys is one of my all-time favorites.
Interesting.
Boys in the Hood's out there. Clerks.
Yeah,
if we
Boys
wanna
in the
go.
Hood was
Kevin-
another one. I was like,
Kevin
what about
Smith.
Friday?
Yeah, Friday's out. Dazed and Confused is up there.
I'm gonna
Fear and
because I'm a nice
Loathing.
guy. I'm gonna throw this out there, and it might be against the rules, but this is the
Friday.
way I was gonna, in my eyes, cheat a little bit. I was gonna go this way. I was going to go with the re-release of The Empire Strikes Back.
Matrix. No, that wouldn't count.
No,
It was
Office
released in the
Space
90s.
is out
The
there.
re-release was in the 90s.
Rushmore. So, if Royal Tenenbaums had actually made it into the 90s, I think Tenenbaums might be my fourth selection here.
You did live in Bucktown.
I actually never lived in Bucktown. I lived
I
in
did.
Ukrainian
I lived Wicker
Village.
Park. Yeah,
Ukrainian
me too.
Village.
Uke Village.
Swingers. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Swingers.
I know it's tough.
I mean,
You're so money you don't even know it, Lawrence.
Yeah, Jeremy Roenick's head bleeding and all that good stuff. Something about Mary, Terminator 2.
Something about Mary was
Train
the first time I
Spotting.
saw it. I almost
Train
wet my
Spotting.
pants. I laughed so
hilarious.
hard.
True Romance, one of my all-time favorite movies.
American Pie.
But I've already got Pulp Fiction.
7.
How absurd was American Pie the first time
Usual
you saw it?
Suspects.
We haven't brought up
Kaiser's-
7.
Usual
Seven's
Suspect,
out
yeah.
there. All right, you know what though? This is my picks.
Here
and
it
this
is, Wayne's
another-
World.
This is another film that I watch to no end, and
Coneheads.
it probably changed my life a little bit in my
Bill and Ted's
early
Excellent Adventure.
2000s. I'm gonna go with Rounders.
Huh. All
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
That's like the game pick.
But you could take Rounders over Good Will Hunting.
I know. Luke,
It's your pick.
Luke,
it's your
Luke,
pick. I understand. It's your pick. Yeah.
It's not your fault, Luke. It's not your fault.
There's too many choices. This had to be
Come on,
categorized.
that was a Good Will Hunting. Come on, we want to hug it in there.
I know.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm taking Rounders.
All right. I got a little bit nervous there because
Yeah?
you mentioned the movie that I'm going to take. I thought, oh man, if he
Don't take it.
if he takes Big Lebowski
Oh.
and this for me, I'm going to be angry. But this is why we're friends, Lawrence.
You're gonna
Yeah,
take
here
it.
we
we
go.
have similar tastes.
You're gonna take my movie.
Am I?
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you know?
You're gonna take.
What do you
Good
think
Will
I'm
Hunting.
taking?
Good
Usual
Will Hunting.
Suspects.
No.
No.
Whoa.
Dazed and Confused.
Yes, Dazed.
Richard
Oh,
Linklater coming off the success
Amazing.
of Slacker.
Explains his time at Wisconsin. Right here.
This movie is amazing. I was close to taking it.
Look how full of life this
Space
shelf
Jam's
looks
not gonna
already.
get
I'm
picked?
just so happy about how it looks.
Thank you.
I know.
No Space Jam.
Colors.
I just hope I don't have to go to the
No
back
Dumb
one
and
last
Dumber.
time, Case. Where
No
where are we
Hoop
going?
Dreams. Hoop Dreams. Not going to make
Yeah,
it.
Hoop Dreams. I mean, yes, great Chicago. Yeah, I just.
Who's your favorite character in Dazed and Confused, Lawrence?
Oh, the dude that's second from the left there, who's given the old rock and roll horns. I love that guy. I forget his name. No idea
Slater?
who he is. I don't know. It's certainly not the kid that looks like Clevenger, who just is constantly like putting his hair behind his ears and touching the bridge of his nose. I couldn't
Adam
stand
Goldberg,
that.
yeah.
Casey's going to go Lion
not
King.
Adam Goldberg. No. The main kid, the kid that's listening to the headphones.
Oh, Wiley
honestly,
Wiggins.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Adam Goldberg, actually,
Mitch.
that's a good call. I love Adam Goldberg. I relate to his energy. He's very angry all the time. All right, Kacy, what do you got for us to finish
This
this
is
out?
hard
It is.
because I do want to pick Good Will Hunting,
And you can.
but I
It's
also
on-
want to
I
pick
have it over
Toy
here.
Story because I was
right.
a child in the 90s.
Toy
and the
Story's
Toy Story
out
was
there.
life-changing.
There it is.
But if we're going, are we going movies I would sit and watch over and over again?
Yes.
It's whatever. It's your shelf.
Wayne's
Kacy's
World?
Picks. Wayne's World's great.
I do love Good Will
Wedding
Hunting.
Singer.
It's probably a top of all time.
Wedding Singer.
Oh, you guys are going to make fun of me.
Billy Madison.
I have to go with Pretty Woman.
You are going with Pretty Woman.
Yes,
Is that that's 1990?
Wow.
I believe so.
That made the cut?
Well, we better look that up.
Let's
I
look
don't
it
know.
up.
It did.
That sounds about right. You know
did.
what?
I just love a young Richard Gere. I mean, come on.
I mean,
And
Primal Fear.
1990, we made it.
Kevin said it earlier. Primal Fear. If you're going to go Richard Gere, Primal Fear is
He-
phenomenal.
I got to be honest.
is-
There are
Remember when he says, I don't know if it's him or the woman, he said, meet me at Barleycorn, 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, I know who John Barleycorn is.
was
three
tough.
middle-aged white guys on this podcast, and nobody picked Office Space. That's stunning to me.
I want.
Because I tell you what,
No
my
Adam
fourth
Sandler
pick, I
movies.
wanted to go Friday.
My
But I
honorable
couldn't pass up
mentions
What About Bob?
are Toy Story and Good Will Hunting.
If you had to pick two more, those would be your
Yeah.
two. Okay, that's a good idea. Let me get two more.
Two
'cause I
more?
don't want to be upset with
Yeah.
myself.
True Romance for me is one of my all-time favorites. And then 12 Monkeys also. I love 12
I
Monkeys.
thought
I do love
Casey
12
would do
Monkeys.
Sleepless in Seattle for sure.
Pretty Woman is my favorite, but I like Sleepless in Seattle too.
How about like the Kevin Smith oeuvre? You get your
Chicago
Clerks,
movie.
You
I
got
think
your
in Chicago for part of that.
I would do
Mallrats.
Good Will Hunting.
Chasing Amy. Ugh, Chasing Amy's amazing.
I would probably go Good Will
Should I have
Hunting
gone
and
Fear and
Saving
Loathing?
Private
Oh,
Ryan.
why did I
after
not
that.
go Fear and Loathing? I kind of want to switch out. I love
Or
Rounders.
Billy
though.
Madison.
You can't switch.
know,
I don't
but
need to go
You
Billy
drafted.
Madison because I did Tommy Boy, which feeds the thirst.
Okay.
We have a huge update.
I would probably take Terminator 2.
T2 was out
Huh.
there for me.
Not
We
Die
haven't
Hard
mentioned
2.
that.
What about Die Hard 2?
Die Hard 2 is terrible. Die Hard 3 with a vengeance
I want to.
in my top.
And I actually might pick Titanic. I think Titanic probably belongs on here as the idea of a 90s movie
Yeah.
and like
for sure.
talk about like special effects that hold up
Yeah.
and what James Cameron did. Like, yeah, it's like a weird, sappy, crappy love song, but like
Ugh.
a
Good
love
pick,
movie.
Jack.
Billy Zane is awesome.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane's a great,
Yeah.
villain. So
Quick
I don't
note:
know.
naked guy wearing pants and a shirt
He's
today.
not naked anymore.
Yeah,
It
he's
is
now
no
hoodie
longer
guy.
summer in
He's hoodie
Chicago.
Sad.
Yeah, it's over. By the way, it's almost criminal that no one has taken Silence of the Lambs, says
No,
Rob Hansen.
absolutely
Oh,
not.
I forgot to take a picture.
Saving
of it.
Private
Wait
Ryan.
a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What are we wait a minute?
Luke's picked Saving Private
Oh,
Ryan for his.
Silence of the Lambs is the only movie I've ever been scared at.
Clarice.
Were you
I
scared in
can't.
7?
I can't boot any of those four. I like comedies more than I like serious movies. But Silence of the Lambs. Ooh.
All right, all right.
So
all
my
right,
two
says
picks would be
Crispy
Good Will
K.
Hunting and Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
Good draft, guys. Good job.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right. Do we have
was fun.
Ryan is?
Clarice.
Oh gosh, we have to do more of the show. Oh,
Yeah, we
okay.
do.
Yeah, we
All
gotta
right,
get it in
uh,
here. Quick.
Let's talk about game time. We'll do Ryan, then we'll
Okay,
call
that's
it
a
a
good
day.
idea. Let's do it.
Does that work?
Yeah, this is gonna be the
Go for
longest
it.
podcast in our network's history.
Game Time is the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. Have you ever dreamed of sitting in a seat you never thought you could? 50-yard line, courtside, behind home plate, floor seats at a concert? It is possible with the Game Time app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. You won't find a better deal this season. It's created by fans and for the fans, and Game Time guarantees the lowest price. If you love CHGO, then you will love Game Time. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description. So if you're going out to Wrigley Field for the last time this weekend,
Yeah,
or
if you're going to meet Cody tomorrow, and
Cody's going to be
Yeah.
out there at Murphy's Bleachers meeting people.
Casual Friday with Cody.
If you're for some reason going to guaranteed rate next week, buy through the link in
For
the
the funeral
description.
of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the next Bears game is that Thursday nighter against Washington. So check it out. Join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats to all your favorite events. Do we have Ryan?
Let's see if we can get Ryan out there. Give me 1 second here.
Has Ryan ever seen a movie from the
out.
1990s?
Oh yeah,
Ryan's going to be so mad that Sandlot and Space Jam were not selected.
Let's see.
But I just decided as sports movies to leave them out.
And
they're in their own category for me.
I didn't touch Rudy.
Go Rudy.
And,
give me a break.
Here
we
like
go. There's
Sandlot
Ryan.
And,
there's Ryan.
Well, yeah.
Ryan, what's up?
Well, I was going to say the Sandlot definitely should have been in there, but Armageddon. No one picked Armageddon.
Armageddon's terrible. That's one of the worst movies of all time. Oh my gosh.
When did the first Batman with Michael Keaton come out? With Jack Nicholson as the Joker. Is that late 80s?
So you have to go Batman Returns or Batman Forever.
Yeah, okay, so it was correct to leave those out.
Yeah.
Hoop Dreams.
Ryan, what's going on at Wrigley Field today?
Kind of in a emotional, farewell, I guess, so to speak. Maybe not as much as some of the other World Series heroes, but obviously Jason Hayward spoke to us for about 30 minutes this morning, good 35, something like that. Just kind of discussing his Cubs career and kind of what's next, how the decision was made to kind of part ways, him and the team. I will say it was just a lot of, kind of him, grateful about the time, no gripes about the decision that was made, and grateful just to be a part of a group of players that really changed the culture and the expectations around Wrigley Field, and obviously broke the curse, the 108-year World Series drought. Just grateful to have played, his part in that and doing that, and kind of bringing the Cubs into a new era where where losing isn't the expectation anymore.
So what are his plans now? What's next for Jason Hayward?
So he obviously, again, will not be back with the Cubs next year. He wants to play again. He wants to keep playing baseball. I mean, he's not like he's 40 years old. Like he thinks he still has something left in the tank. Whether a team will come calling, he said he would consider, what teams are looking for, maybe someone with what he provides, teams that, maybe he would even consider like a minor league invite, non-roster invite to spring training. He mentioned the World Baseball Classic and how guys will be gone, that's in March. So that'll open up some time in spring training in different areas to kind of maybe lock down a place on a roster. But his goal is to keep playing. He wants to play baseball next year.
Interesting.
There have been some real class acts off the field, off the floor in Chicago history. Jason Hayward didn't live up to the contract on the field. Off the field, he exceeded every expectation Chicagoans should have for their athletes. I think of just some of them, and you're like, Kyle Korver did a ton in the community. Jason Hayward has done a ton in the community. Was he asked about the possibility of, when he is done playing, coming back to the Cubs in some form or fashion, whether that would be front office, whether that would be spring training, or as a coach, bench coach, anything like that?
Yeah, he was. He said he would. Again, he wants to play baseball, wants to keep playing baseball, but when that time comes, he would be open to coming back in some capacity. Okay. He said he doesn't know, at this point, that he would want to be a manager. He doesn't know if he wants to be in that seat ever, but maybe in the future that changes. But he said he would like to come back in some capacity, whether that's front office, some role in the front office, ambassador, even part owner. Obviously not going to be Ricketts level ownership, but to kind of taking part in how that is run, because he said he wants to have voices like him being at the level where they can, not talk down to players or coaches, but they're above them, and they can show them, hey, where he can show them hey, this is what I see, this is what I've done in my career, this is what I've seen in my career. Helping young players in that way, helping coaches kind of get acclimated to, maybe it's their first job coaching in the major league. So he definitely wants to be a part of baseball after he's done playing. So I think you can expect something in that kind of capacity in the future.
Well, this makes me feel old, Luke, because I remember going down to Florida for spring training when I was with Yahoo, and I was really excited to meet an 18 or 19-year-old Jason Hayward at camp there. I mean, everyone was talking about him. People thought, okay, maybe he's the next Hank Aaron. Maybe he's the next Barry Bonds. I mean, obviously an amazing body. And he had a good career. Obviously didn't live up to $184 million of what the Cubs gave him. But to kind of see now he's at the tail end of his career and not quite riding into the sunset, but you can definitely see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, I guess.
Yeah, I covered his first game in Atlanta when he hit the home runs off of Carlos Zambrano.
Yeah.
And it was like you were saying, people were like, is this the next Ken Griffey Jr.? Is this the next A-Rod type player? That's what he was thought of. I will say this. Again, the debate will always be about Jason Hayward.
Right.
Was the contract worth the speech? And if you can say that the speech had some impact on the Cubs winning the World Series,
then yes.
The answer is yes. If you can't say that it if you're like I don't know, then the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Just the way it is.
Well, it's kind of funny because he addressed it. We talked to David Ross beforehand, pregame too. They both kind of addressed the speech and really just Jason Hayward's role in 2016 in general. Jason talks about how he didn't know really how long that rain delay was going to be, but he saw, Aroldis Chapman in tears. People, maybe the first kind of sense of doubt creeping in after everything that they had been through in that game. And he talked about how he needed to bring them up and just remind them that they're the best team in baseball, that they won 103 games for a reason, that they're going to win that game. And Ross also talked about just how, without Jason, not just the speech, but without him in 2016, they don't win the World Series. That he played. It always gets talked about that's the bad contract. And as far as the numbers go, it probably is. But I would say, if you're going back and if you believe that he truly played as big a role as as his manager talks about, as his teammates always talk about, if you believe he played that much of a role in the Cubs winning the World Series, that they wouldn't have won it without him, then I think you give that contract to him again. And he also talked about how he's like, people call it a bad contract. He's like, well, then I'm kind of blessed to be in a select group of players to have gotten bad contracts.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool too, just seeing what he's been able to do on the West Side and some of the initiatives he started. He's given it back. So I think no one in Chicago is really ever going to get him on for hey, you didn't earn out that contract. Just kind of how some of these things go, right?
Yeah.
If you came in here and you were a bad guy with a bad attitude, that's one thing. But to be a good teammate and a good citizen obviously means a lot. So, Ryan, thanks for joining us. I think you're going to be on with Luke and Cody later out there from Wrigley. Enjoy your last weekend at the park for 2022.
Yeah, I can't believe it's already here. Can't believe the end of the season's already here.
It's crazy. Well, you've done a great job. You've been a great asset to CHGO, and we're really happy to have you. And hopefully in 2023 you'll be able to cover a few more wins.
Please. We can only hope.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
And some quick games for Luke.
Quicker games, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Woo, we did it. Thanks,
It's
Ryan.
a good thing that in 2016 the Cubs didn't go into that clubhouse and turn on Mrs. Doubtfire instead of listening to the speech from Jason Hayward. That's how I would sum up this entire podcast.
That's a good
They could have
point.
wasted their time with Mrs. Doubtfire, or they could have listened to Jason Hayward. Actually, I like Mrs. Doubtfire. I just can't.
My brain is kind of regretting the Rounders pick a little bit at the end there because I feel like
The Rounders is weird.
I should have gone with Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, but I don't know. Rounders to me, it made me love poker, and that early 2000s is when the poker boom happened and all that. And
is Fear and Loathing directed by the same guy who directed
it's
Monkeys?
Guillermo del Toro, isn't it? Del Toro or Del Toro? I mean,
okay.
I don't know. Maybe.
So no.
By the way, I forgot to show off the fact that this was a 90s movie draft. I wore my Lollapalooza 92 shirt.
Oh, wow. That is cool.
Yeah,
that
that's
is
right.
cool.
Back when it was a traveling festival with 7 bands playing.
Yeah.
Busted this out in the basement. Smells like it.
I'm thrilled with my draft, by the way. Thrilled with it because If I was trying to win people's votes, I would have picked different movies.
Mm-hmm.
I picked movies that I loved.
I don't love the
And
Tommy
it's a
Boy
mixture.
one.
Oh, I think there's a
Yeah. Tommy Boy and What About Bob are certainly not my favorite comedies of the 90s. But
you like them better than Billy Madison? I mean, I like all those movies, but if I watched those two were
I
on,
don't like Billy Madison really at all, honestly.
really.
I mean, it's
Happy
fine.
Gilmore.
Sure, it's fine. I'd rather see The Wedding Singer.
Yeah,
Her name's going to be
Interesting.
Julia Gulia.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not with you on that, but like, that's why it's.
What
not
do you
your
think
list,
the
right?
biggest omission on here was?
Good Will Hunting?
Yeah, Good Will Hunting should be on this.
So I think it's like Good Will Hunting, Titanic, Home Alone.
The Matrix.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Home Alone. Really, I probably should have picked Home Alone over
Usual Suspects. That's the other one. That
Home
film's
Alone is.
amazing.
What was the worst movie of
I
the
probably
90s?
should have picked Home Alone instead of Tommy Boy. I wanted to pick What About Bob no matter what. I was picking What About Bob. Bob Wiley.
Worst movie of the 90s, Lawrence.
Worst movie in the 90s?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Titanic? I don't know.
Phantom Menace.
Oh, yeah. Jar Jar, sure.
So I love good, bad movies. Like, you remember the movie Fear with Reese Witherspoon and Mark Wahlberg?
What about one with Pauly Shore? Probably had something that was horrible.
Encino Man?
Okay,
By
there
the
you
way,
go.
we didn't say
anything with Pauly Shore.
Did anyone say The Matrix or wait? Was Point Break a '90s movie?
Yes, they both were. I didn't.
Point
I'm
Break.
not a Matrix guy. Or Point Break was
Point
decent.
Break. Point Break's an amazing film. No, okay.
Remember they say like
was good.
remembering some guys. We're just remembering some films.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Rode
that was
off in
fun.
It was fun.
wave.
Thanks for joining us. This has been the CHGO podcast. Join us next Thursday. We will be back here. I don't know if we'll do the 2000s movie draft,
hope
but
not. Please
that'll
don't
be
make me
coming
do
up
that
at
again.
some point.
Can people vote online for this? Are we going to post it social?
Yes.
Vote for me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Vote for me. Thank you. And
Vote for me. Thank you.
vote for me. Thank
See you next week.
See you, everyone.